The Ion is the shortest, or nearly the shortest, of all the writings which bear the name of Plato and is not authenticated by any early external testimony. The grace and beauty of this little work supplies the only and perhaps a sufficient proof of its genuineness. The plan is simple. The dramatic interest consists entirely in the contrast between the irony of Socrates and the transparent vanity and childlike enthusiasm of the rhapsode, Ion. Ion has just come to Athens. He has been exhibiting in Epidaurus and is intending to exhibit at the festival of the Panathenea. Socrates admires and envies his art, for he is always well dressed and in good company, in the company of good poets and of Homer, who is the prince of them. In the course of conversation, the admission is elicited from Ion that his skill is restricted to Homer and that he knows nothing of inferior poets, such as Hesiod. He brightens up and is wide awake when Homer is being recited, but is apt to go to sleep at the recitations of any other poet. And yet, surely, he who knows the superior ought to know the inferior also. He who can judge of the good speaker is able to judge of the bad. And poetry is a whole, and he who judges of poetry by rules of art ought to be able to judge of all poetry. This is confirmed by the analogy of sculpture, painting, flute playing, and the other arts. The argument is at last brought home to the mind of Ion, who asks how this contradiction is to be solved. Ion is delighted at the notion of being inspired and acknowledges that he is beside himself when he is performing. His eyes rain tears and his hair stands on end. Socrates is of opinion that a man must be mad who behaves in this way at a festival when he is surrounded by his friends and there is nothing to trouble him. Ion is confident that Socrates would never think him mad if he could only hear his embellishments of Homer. Socrates asks whether he can speak well about everything in Homer. Yes, indeed he can. What about things of which he has no knowledge? Ion answers that he can interpret anything in Homer. But rejoins Socrates, when Homer speaks of the arts, as for example of chariot driving, or of medicine, or of prophecy, or of navigation, will he, or will the charioteer, or physician, or prophet, or pilot be the better judge? Ion is compelled to admit that every man will judge of his own particular art better than the rhapsode. He still maintains, however, that he understands the art of the general as well as anyone. Then why in the city of Athens, in which men of merit are always being sought after, is he not at once appointed a general? Ion replies that he is a foreigner, and the Athenians and Spartans will not appoint a foreigner to be their general. No, that is not the real reason. There are many examples to this contrary. But Ion has long been playing tricks with the argument. Like Proteus, he transforms himself into a variety of shapes and is at last about to run away in the disguise of a general. Would he rather be regarded as inspired or dishonest? Ion, who has no suspicion of the irony of Socrates, eagerly embraces the alternative of inspiration. The Ion, like the other earlier Platonic dialogues, is a mixture of jest and earnest, in which no definite result is obtained, but some Socratic or Platonic truths are allowed dimly to appear.